Detective Inspector Tom Brand parked his Saab behind a police Land Rover on a remote country road and got out to stretch his aching back. The pothole-infested road he had driven along to get here might have been suitable for a horse and cart 100 years ago, but had certainly not been built to accommodate motor vehicles. He was going to have to get the Saab's suspension checked if the car made it back in one piece, as well as the Land Rover, which had been driven here by the PC who had responded to the 999 call. A scenes of crimes van and an ambulance were also parked next to a low stone wall which bordered the road. Tom went to the rear of the Saab, checking the tyres for damage before opening the boot and donning his walking gear. According to his map, this was the closest he could get to Hag's Bluff by vehicle. The rest of the journey had to be made on foot. As he was lacing his boots, he heard another car approaching and turned to see a green Jeep trundling along the road towards him. Ryan, at least she might know the way from here to Hag's Bluff. Save him having to read the map while trudging over the moors. She parked behind him and slid out of the Jeep. Bit of a bumpy ride, Gov. I'm not sure my car can survive much more of this treatment. You need to get yourself a four-wheel drive, she said, patting the Jeep Renegade's bonnet. It's the only way you're going to reach some of these out-of-the-way places, especially if the weather turns bad. He didn't elaborate further than that. The truth was, he had no intention of getting a car that suited this terrain. He still planned to return to his old job in London eventually, so getting a four-wheel drive seemed like a concession to the idea that he would be staying here longer than intended. He might be driving around the countryside in a city car, but that was because he was a city person. Ryan put on her boots, along with a black police windbreaker that matched the one Tom wore. She walked over to a simple wooden stile that spanned the wall. On the opposite side lay the moors and rocky cliffs in the distance. Many sets of boots had passed this way, leaving a muddy track in their wake. No need for a map after all, Tom thought. Just follow the boot tracks. He climbed over the stile, followed by Ryan. The breeze brought a dark, earthy smell from the moors. As they made their way along the muddy trail, Tom wondered if the emergency call to the police had been accurate. The caller had said that someone had been shot with an arrow. PC Dalton, who had responded to the call, had reported that there had indeed been what looked like a murder, but hadn't mentioned an arrow, only that detectives and Sockos should be dispatched to the scene immediately. What do you think of? Ryan asked, obviously pondering the same topic. Could this be a case of murder by arrow? He shrugged, while at the same time trying to avoid a sudden dip in the ground. The moor was as full of holes and depressions as the bloody road had been. It'll be a strange one if it is. I wouldn't think a bow or crossbow would be a very efficient murder weapon. The crossbow is ruled out, she said. If the caller was accurate, then it's a bow we're looking for. He didn't remember a bow being mentioned in the transcript of the 999 call he'd read, only an arrow. Why do you say that? The caller said the body had been struck by an arrow. An arrow comes from a bow. A crossbow fires a bolt.